Okay, so on this one, they're giving us a box plot right here. And then they're going to ask us what quarter has the smallest spread of data. Okay, so this is a really good question. Let me try to help to make this just as real as I possibly can for you. So let's suppose this is a quiz you gave to your students. Suppose you're teaching your class and you give them a quiz, and afterwards you just decide to put a box plot on the board to show the students how they did overall on the quiz. What does this box plot mean? Well, it means that this is the minimum score right here. This is the lowest anybody got on the quiz was 3. This is the Q1. This is the median right here. This is the Q3. And this is the maximum. The highest score anybody got on the quiz was 38. Okay, and so remember what that box plot does is breaks the data up into 4 even sections. Meaning what? Meaning 1/4 of all the students in your class got between 3 and 8, and 1/4 of all the students in your class got between 8 and 10, and 1/4 of all the students in your class got between 10 and 20, and 1/4 of all the students in your class got between 20 and 38. So just to make it more real, suppose your class has, the class has 32 students in it. What if the class has 32 students? Well, divide that by 4, into 4 sections is 8. So that would be 8, 8, 8, 8 per section. So that would mean there'd be 8 students in this section. There'd be 8 in this section, 8 in this section, and 8 in this section. There'd be 8 students that got quiz scores in each of those ranges. You know what I mean? There'd be like 8 students who got a quiz score between 3 and 8. Because that's 1/4 of the class, right? 8 is 1/4 of 32. So I don't know there's really 32 students. I'm just making that up, but I'm just trying to make this real. And 8 students would get between 8 and 10, and 8 students would get between 10 and got between 10 and 20 in the quiz, and 8 students got between 20 and 38. All right, let's go to the questions. What quarter has the smallest spread of data? Smallest spread. So can you see it's this quarter right here? Right, that only goes from 8 to 10. So that's the second quarter, right? This is first quarter, second quarter, third, like a football game or basketball game. It breaks the whole game, all the quiz scores, up into 4 sections. So the second quarter is the smallest. And what is that spread for the second quarter? Well, mine is 10 minus 8. It's only a spread of 2, right? The second quarter of all the students got between 8 and 10 on the quiz, which is a spread of only 2. And then it says, which quarter has the largest spread? So which quarter has the largest spread of data? Well, that would be this fourth quarter, at least on mine. And so that's the fourth. This other one was the second. And what is the spread of that one? Well, it goes from 38 to 20. So let me subtract those. That's a spread of 18. And then it's asking for the IQR. And yeah, I forgot to put this in the notes. I'll add it to the notes. The IQR is actually not too bad. It just means the Q3 minus the Q1. It's just, it means, it's called interquartile range. And it means how far between the 2 quartile marks, how far between Q1 and Q3. So my Q3 is 20 and my Q1 is 8. So subtract those and we get 12. So the IQR, the range between the quartiles, basically it's the width of the box. It's how wide the box is from Q1 to Q3, which is the left edge of the box, right edge of the box, is 8 to 20 is 12. Okay, now F and G are more tricky questions. So the easy questions are over. Here comes the tricky ones. Which interval has the most data in it? Which interval has the most data in it? Now, most data, you want to think most students, right? Because data is students. These are student test scores. Student is students. Yes, students who got those scores, right? So let's go up and look. So their first thing is 10 to 20. So how many from 10 to 20? Well, on my graph, 10 to 20 would have exactly 8 students in it, right? See it right here? 8 students got between 10 and 20. 1/4 of the whole class, which I said, suppose there's 32 students. That would be 8 students who got between 10 and 20. 1/4 of the whole class, 8 students. So that would be 8, for example, 8 students would be in that range, 1/4 of the whole class. How about between 3 and 10? Well, 3 and 10, that's 2 whole sections, isn't it? That's 8 and 8. That's going to be 16 students. That's 2 whole sections. That's half of the entire class. Even though it's not a very wide number range, 3 to 10, it's actually half of the whole class. How do we know? Well, because it's 2 whole sections and the class is broken up into even quarters. So it's 1/4 and 1/4, which is 2 quarters, which is a half. Right? From 3 to 10 is half of the whole class. 8 students, 8 students. That's going to be 16 students. That's half of the whole class. So there's certainly more students in that range. And then 20 to 38. 20 to 38. Well, that's just one section. That's the top section, right? 8 students in the top quarter. 8 students. So that's certainly less for that one. And the last one, 12 to 36. What's that going to be? 12 to 36. Well, 12 to 36, it's a little tricky to see. 12 is a little bit to the right of 10. And 36 is a little bit to the left of 38. So in other words, it's a little bit less than 2 whole sections, isn't it? Do you see that? Right? There's 8 students from 10 all the way to 20, and 8 students from 20 to 38, 8 students from 10 to 20. So this is going from 12 to 36. So it's not quite all of these 8 students and not quite all of these 8 students. It's a little bit less than 16 students, isn't it? It's a little bit less than 16 students. So which one has the most? This one right here, the 3 through 10, because that's got a full 16 students in it. Half our class got quiz scores between 3 and 10. So that's pretty tricky because it's asking you to really be clear on the difference between quiz scores and how many students or data values are in each of those regions. Is that making sense on that one? That's kind of tricky. So I just went score region by score region. Scores 10 to 20, 8 students. Scores 3 to 10, 8 and 8, 2 sections, 16 students. 20 to 38, just 8 students in the upper quarter. Then 12 to 36 was tricky. 12 is past the 10, 36 is here. So 12 to 36 is just a little bit less than 2 whole sections. So it's less than 8 and 8, less than 16. So then the 16 students is the biggest section, which is quiz scores 3 to 10. That's tricky. Last one, what value could represent the 53rd percentile? 53rd percentile. Well, remember what percentile is? It's a ranking system, right? Which goes from 0% to 100%. So if you're at the 53rd percentile, you're right there. You're just past halfway, right? 53rd percentile. Just past the middle. You're just past the middle. If you got the 53rd percent if you have a child in your class and the parent comes to the parent-teacher conference and that student got the 53rd percentile, you would explain to the parents that means it's just past the middle. 53rd percentile is just past 50% on a ranking from 0 to 100. Child's above average, just barely. 53rd on that test anyway. 53rd percentile, just past the middle. Okay, so now what value could represent that? What could the quiz scores have been, for example? 5, could it have been a 5? Well, no, a 5 would be about right here. That's certainly below the middle. Person got a 5 on the quiz. Couldn't be a 5. How about an 11? Could it be an 11? Where's 11? 11 be right here? Yeah, that's perfect. That's just past the middle. Remember the middle is 10? On mine anyway? It's got to be 11. 11's the answer. Let's try the other one. In other words, could it be 53? Now 53, nobody could have got 53, right? The highest score in the whole thing is 38. You can't get 53. They're just testing to see if we're paying attention, if we know what these things mean. How about 20? Could the person have got, what value could it have been, a 20 on the thing? No, 20 would be right here at the third quarter. That's way past halfway. Here's halfway back here. 20 is at the third quarter. That's 75% of the way through the data. That'd be 75 percentile. No, it's got to be the 11 because the 11 is just past halfway. If a person got an 11 on the quiz, the average was 10, right? The median was 10. If they got an 11, they did just a little better than average, so they could be at the 53rd percentile. That's certainly possible. That certainly fits. And so that's the only number that's could have possibly been 53rd percentile. So there we go.